Good morning, everybody. Day 18 of the suffering. Ooh, I'm feeling okay this morning. Not too bad. Not too bad, actually. We'll get this cardio in. I'll see you guys in the kitchen. Well, back in the kitchen to make our amazing breakfast again of egg whites and oatmeal. Same old, same old. Every single day I'm waking up, I am seeing progress. So this morning it was easy for me to wake up. I woke up actually with, I look groggy because I just woke up, obviously, but I actually woke up with a fair amount of energy and I actually felt really good. It wasn't hard getting out of bed. It wasn't a struggle or a fight. And this morning cardio was actually easy. So last night I actually tweaked my knee while I was doing squats. And what happened, well, I'm going to tell you what it felt like what happened because I don't know actually what happened inside of the joint. So whenever I went down on the low end of squats, I was down in the hole, when my knee was bent like this, it felt like something inside like kind of rolled like a wave almost. It was a very weird sensation. It didn't pop and there was no pain or sharpness, but there was a lot of pressure that followed that sensation. So I was on my 7th rep of 185. I was going to go for 8, but I called it at 5. Oh, sorry, I called it at 7 because I wasn't sure what it was, and I don't see the point of trying to push through some weird feeling like that because you don't get no rewards and you don't get no medals for getting hurt. There is no medal of honor or anything of the sort of bravery for pushing through some sensation like that and then getting hurt. So I called it on that rep. I estimated my knee for a couple of minutes before moving on to belt squats. And when I moved on to belt squats, I started with 135 and it felt fine. It didn't bother me. And then it just felt like pressure. And then on my second set, it felt even better. Then after that, pretty much the pressure and the feeling of tightness went away. I had a great workout. My knee didn't really bother me the rest of the night, but my hamstring started hurting me really bad. And not in like a, oh, it's tight. It was like a sharp shooting pain, like a sciatic nerve. I don't know if you guys have ever had a pinch in your sciatic, like in your hip, lower back area. For me, whenever something in my back kind of goes a little wonky, I get a pain that shoots all the way down into my calf, and it feels like electricity shooting all the way through. And if I try to stretch my hamstrings, it makes it worse. If I try to bend over with a straight leg, it makes it even worse. So that's how I know it's a sciatic, because it's putting stress on the nerve bending over and stretching it and aggravating it more. So from there, I decided, okay, you pinch something in your back on squats, or you shifted on that last set. Whenever on that last rep, when I felt that in my back, I you watch the video, I kind of shift back a little bit instead of coming up. Instead of just coming like straight back up, you can see I kind of like shift back and then come up because I felt that pressure on my knee and I was trying to get the pressure off my knees and put it on my hips. And I think by doing that, I tweaked something in my lower back hip area, and I got either an aggravated disc or nerve, or I have impingement and inflamed something. So I took 4 ibuprofen last night right before bed to try to get the swelling down. I also did my version table 2 times last night to try to get whatever it is to relax and release. And it did help significantly. It did make a big difference doing the inversion table. And well, before I went to bed, it made a big difference. It wasn't 100%, was still bothering me quite a bit. I tried doing some like yoga stretches and trying to do some movements for the sciatic. if you get on YouTube and look at how to release sciatic or lower back pain, there's a whole bunch of like drills and things you can do with your hips and to like, you know, like those little bird dog things or whatever. There's a bunch of different drills you can do to help relieve it and get it to relax or release. So I did those last night after I did my inversion table, and then going to bed to get ibuprofen. Waking up this morning, I was worried I was going to wake up and be so stiff I could barely move, but I was actually a lot better. I actually did not feel it getting up out of bed this morning. I didn't feel my knee. Also took the ibuprofen because of my knee, but I didn't feel my knee this morning, and I also didn't feel my back or nothing down my leg until I started doing the Stairmaster. Once I started doing the Stairmaster, I could feel my hip. It was like right in my hip, and the first maybe like top 4 inches coming out of my glute into my hamstring. So like from here to maybe here, I could feel something like shooting with every step. So when I was doing cardio this morning on the Stairmaster, I would lean over on the handrails and I would arch my back, and then I would round my back and arch my back, and I'd stand up and I'd move my hips back and forth, and I do all kinds of different positions with my hips this morning, trying to get movement in there to lubricate it, hopefully get it to release. And by the end of it, it was feeling significantly better, and it wasn't really aggravating me or bothering me no more. And I can feel it right now. Well, when I say feel it right now, I actually don't feel it right now. I don't feel anything in my lower back at all whatsoever. And that's a very good sign that whatever it is, it's not going to be something that I'm going to have to deal with for a couple of days. Because normally whenever I get something in my lower back or hip like this, and it feels like a sciatic issue, it's normally something that I'm fighting with and dealing with for probably about 6-7 days. I have to go to the chiropractor once or twice. I have to do the inversion table every morning and every evening, and I have to do these yoga drills. And then finally, after about like 6 or 7 days, it relaxes. And if I don't go to the chiropractor, I don't do the yoga drills, I don't do the inversion table, it will not stop and it will not go away. So for anyone that's going to say, oh, well, you're doing too much, you got to rest it, blah, 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 blah. I have to go to the chiropractor at least twice in a week, do the inversion table twice a day, and do these yoga drills once a day. And then, like I said, in about 5, 6, 7 days, it'll finally just like, and the time that I had this happen, and I just took ibuprofen, anti-inflammatories, and hoped that it would just kind of like relax and go on its own. It never did. So I have to be proactive about it. Like I had to be like on top of it to be able to get it to do what I need to do to relax so it doesn't bother me anymore. But I think I'm going to be fine. But I was also talking last night in the video, and I was saying that I might actually be doing away with squats, and I might go back to leg extensions, or I'll put a box, because I think my issue is I'm squatting too deep, and I'm getting a little bit of butt wink at the bottom. For those of you who don't know what butt wink is, it's whenever this is your hip and this is your knee. Whenever you squat down, your hips dip a little bit, and then you come out of the hole, and you squat back, and then your butt dips in a little bit. That's butt wink. I used to work on my mobility and my hamstrings a whole lot when I powerlifted, so that didn't happen. It's really common for high bar squatters to get a little bit of butt wink. It's not dangerous if you keep it under control, but last night when I felt that on my knee, and then I try to shift the weight onto my hip out of that position, is whenever I tweaked my back. I'm almost 100% positive. So I don't know if I'm going to put a box underneath me to box squat from now on to keep the traveling distance smaller, so I don't have to go so deep, because I had to do the same thing with my belt squat. I had to set my post up because I was going too deep. And then same thing for my hack squat, my foot position on the pads. I used to put it on the lower pads so I could get as deep as I could possibly get. Now I have to put it up on the upper pad, so it reduces the range of motion that I go through, because I'll go all the way down, and every single time I do, I either tweak something in my back or I hurt something in my knee. So I'm just at the point now where it's like, it's just not worth it going that deep anymore. I love going deep like that. I've been doing it for as long as I've been lifting, since I've been 14, but I'm now at a point where the constant like looming issue of like either my back or my knee kind of aggravating me or agitating isn't worth it. So I'm going to either put a box in, or I'm going to get rid of the squat altogether out of my routine and go with leg extensions as a warm-up first. And then maybe down the road, I'll even look at buying a Smith machine, so I can set the safeties up and I can lean back into it and step out forward and kind of do like a front squat and use the safety use a Smith machine, because to be honest, every time I do squats, I literally just feel it in my abs and I feel it in my lower back. I never feel it in my legs. And when I'm bodybuilding, I kind of want to feel the area that I'm training. So if I feel it in my abs and my low back, I know my abs and my lower back are weaker than my quads, which is obvious. But at the same time, though, if I'm training my legs, I want to feel it on my legs. Anyways, I'm going to cut the video here so I can eat. I'll see you guys at 9. Back at it again for some more chicken and rice. It never gets old until it does. I think I figured it out how to eat it. So I eat the chicken first. And I was trying to mix it up together, but even still, the chicken would just make the rice a little bit harder to eat and the green beans. So if I just eat the chicken first, put some in my mouth, because I boil it down to the point where it pretty much breaks apart. I cut it up into small cubes, so that way I don't have to cut it up after it's cooked. And then I boil it down so it pretty much just falls apart. So all I really have to do is just put it in my mouth, chew it 2-3 times, slush some water around, and I can swallow it. And then after I'm done with that, I can eat my rice and my green beans, which is enjoyable. And I actually learned a long time ago, whenever I was a teenager, I was eating a lot of tuna because I read Sylvester Stallone. He ate tuna for 6 months straight, nothing but tuna. And I was eating tuna every single day out the can like he was doing, because I thought that's how I was going to get ripped and jacked. And I learned that chewing tuna doesn't make tuna easier to swallow. What makes tuna easy to swallow is when you put a chunk in your mouth and you put water and you slush it around and then you swallow it. Because tuna's already broken up. It's just chewing it dries your mouth out. So if you just put some water, slush it around, swallow it, it's easier to get down. And that's pretty much what's going on with the chicken too. And I would go back to tuna, but I don't want all the mercury. Not that like I would eat enough to really cause any damage, but at the same time, like I just don't want to eat that much fish, because I like fish, but it's definitely a mood food for me. I have to be in the mood to eat it to enjoy it. I can't just eat it to eat it, because otherwise it's just like, ugh. It's amazing how some things just work out. So this morning I was telling you guys about how my back was kind of aggravated and stuff like that when I was doing cardio for a little bit. Well, it hasn't really bothered me at all today, but I can still feel a little bit of something here and there. Well, when I just got done eating at 9 o'clock, I stood up. And when I stood up, I twisted to put my Tupperware up. And when I did, something in my low back around my hip that's bothering me popped, and instant relief. So even though it wasn't bothering me, it was still aggravated, but not like a painful aggravated. So just that little bitty twist, just pop, and now it feels great. So hopefully that's that. I don't need to go to the chiropractor and spend money or anything else, and I'm able to continue to move around pain-free. Oh man, I love it when your body just takes care of itself. So waking up and doing cardio this morning was actually a good thing, because I think it lubricated me up and got my blood flowing and everything else. And my knee doesn't bother me either. Even though I had that weird feeling in my knee yesterday, I don't really feel anything in my knee right now walking either. So hopefully it was just some fluid or something like that. But you know, I've had knee issues with this. I've had problems with my knee since I was 14. I hyperextended it. So I kind of got to err on the side of caution, and I think I am going to pull squats out. Again, I still have some days to think about it, but I think I'm to the point where I'm just like, I love deadlifts and I love squats and I know the value of them, but to me, it seems like I get more bumps and bruises and issues than I do I get more problems than I do results from doing those movements. So I think I'm going to just cut those out of my routine like I did the bench. The 3 big bench squats and deadlifts are done. And I'm just going to focus more on putting load on the muscle like a bodybuilder, since that's what I'm doing. I don't think there's a need for squats, bench, or deadlifts when it comes to bodybuilding. Are they useful? Yes. Can they make you get bigger and stronger? Of course, absolutely. But so can other movements. And that's why they make other machines and other pieces of equipment for people that have issues and can't do certain movements, like myself. But I'm gonna finish this walk up. I'll see you guys at lunch. 12 o'clock, so it's time for some more boiled, bland, seasonless chicken with some brown rice and green beans. And I gotta tell you, today I feel great mentally. I feel good physically. I feel awesome. My quads are getting sore. My groin is getting sore. So yesterday was a fantastic workout. Told you guys earlier at 9 o'clock, I went to go twist, and something in the small of my back hip area popped, and it has continuously felt better and better throughout the day. So whatever I did in my back yesterday from doing squats, when I felt that thing in my knee and shifted, it it isn't going to be an issue, hopefully. So I'm happy about that. But I am pretty hungry. I already ate my appetizer, otherwise known as creatine, glutamine, and arginine. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the video off right here so I can eat, and I'll see you guys at 4 o'clock in the gym because I'm actually really hungry right now. Back again on Thursday. This is our second chest and back night of the week. So I'm going to do like I did yesterday. I've really just been filling my workouts. I haven't really been talking between sets. I kind of just want to get in and just really focus on my workout and have a really hard workout without having to worry about miking up and all that other stuff. I'll record my top sets, but I'm not going to talk in between. But I'm going to tell you all what we're doing. I know you can't see the board from there, but our first item is wide grip pull downs. We're going to do 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. And then our next is going to be close grip pull downs, 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Machine rows, which we're going to do 1 arm at a time, the ISO rower. Then from there, we're going to do low cable crossovers, high cable crossovers, and straight cable crossovers. And that's going to be it for tonight for chest and back. Everything we do, we're doing 4 sets, 8 to 12 repetitions. The first 3 sets, we're just going to move through it and just get the body moving in that plane of motion, feeling it out, making sure everything's working correctly. And the last set, we're going to pull, hold, squeeze, slow, controlled, negative, pull, hold, squeeze, slow, controlled, negative on everything we do to try to get the maximum amount of muscle tension and load that we can do with just 1 top set. So 3 warm-ups, one top set is basically how we're looking at it. That way we can keep the intensity really, really high on that last set while building up to that weight, because I don't want to spend unnecessary energy on a 100-pound pull down when it's not necessary. You're not getting really anything out of that. But when you get to your top set, the energy you save from those first 3 sets, just getting warmed up to put all out 100% into that top set, it's where it counts. And don't get me wrong, every set counts, every rep counts. But you have to kind of know when and where to full throttle and when to back off. I'm not going to spend energy on unnecessary weight being really, really light. So this keeps the intensity up while keeping the risk of injury really, really low, because we're doing it slow and controlled without high explosive, violent whipping. So that way we help preserve our bodies from getting damaged. Also, my knee and my back is still feeling great. I haven't had any back issues, hip issues, knee issues today. Everything feels wonderful. Ever since it popped around 9 o'clock today, it's been 100% green light. So let me get started on this workout, and then I'll see you. I won't see, but I'll talk to you about the workout when I'm done and kind of explain if anything went wrong or what was my favorite movement tonight and how the pump was and whatnot. Let me get started on this. that was a really good workout. So yesterday I tried to talk quieter, so I didn't seem like I was screaming into the mic, but I felt like it was still picking up my audio really loud. So I put the mic down a little bit lower. I'm still trying to talk a little soft. I'm used to talking loud in the gym. Okay, so you guys saw the workout, you saw the routine. Everything went great. My back felt amazing. Now remember, my left shoulder has been bothering me the last couple weeks since February. I had no shoulder issue tonight. And then whenever I'm doing cable crossovers, normally when I'm doing straight across, it's not low or high. Normally my shoulder, I can only go so far, like just a little bit past parallel before it starts hurting me really bad. Well, I didn't have that issue tonight. I pretty much had full range of motion in all three movements with zero pain in any movement. Like there was no pain or no issue at all in my shoulder. So that tells me that whatever I hurt in February is making a recovery, that's healing up, and it looks like it's not going to be an issue later down the road, and I'll be able to get back to fully working out with no restrictions. It just needed a little bit of time, a little range of motion, and a little bit of rehab to be able to get it back to where it needed to be. So I'm happy about that. But got a really good pump, felt awesome. And now I'm about to drink my protein shake. We're heading to the tanning salon to go get tanned, and it'll be business as usual. Get home, shower, eat dinner. And also, what I want to say about the workout too is, when I say go through the motion, like the first 3 sets, it needs to be a nice, smooth, fluid motion all the way through. In the last set, you guys saw a nice hard squeeze, a nice slow negative with a very deep stretch at the bottom. Trying to stretch the muscle out as much as you can get at the bottom without compromising joint health or joint position, causing pain or any type of like bad positioning that causes impingement. Because the whole purpose is you want to stretch the muscle fibers and stretch the fascia tissue, so that way you can get a good deep stretch on it and force as much blood in there with a hard contraction, and then you want to lock the muscle up and squeeze and hold with all that blood trapped in there for a good solid contraction. And then you do a nice slow negative, straining the muscle, because the muscle doesn't know if you have 50 pounds or 500 pounds on the bar. It just knows strain and load, strain and load. That's all it knows. So if you can achieve a very hard workout with very lightweight, when I say very lightweight, moderate weight, with a good deep stretch and a hard contraction, you don't have to put yourself in harm's way for injury, and you don't have to worry about overloading, like, oh man, I have to go how much weight. And if you get to a point, like for instance, I write down all my sets and reps. So whenever I get to a point that if I come in and I do an exercise, let's just say wide grip pull downs, let's say I do 190 for 8, and then I come back in and do 190 for 8. The next time I come in, I do 190 for 6 or 7. Well, I'm not going to come in and do it again. I'm going to change that workout out for something else. I'm going to switch that out for a different movement that's still going to target the same muscle, but will allow me to continuously get stronger. So since I change it out, whenever I go to, I'm going to have to use lighter weight, and I'm going to build back into it every week. More reps, more weight, more reps, more weight, more reps, more weight, until I hit to a point where I stall out and I can no longer go up in weight or reps. So from there, what I'll do is I'll go back to the wide grip pull down, and I'll continue to build that up over time, like I did before, till I get back to 190 and hopefully go past it and get to that 200 or 210. And then whenever I stall out, I'll switch it back up to the other exercise or a different exercise. And if you can't get past a certain weight for reps, then that's whenever you incorporate like a rest pause system, where you'll hit it and then you'll rest about 10, 15 breaths, then you'll hit it again. And then that will be your total number. And then that's what you're going to be trying to beat your next workout. So a little tidbit for you guys on that. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get my protein shake in. So I'm going to end the video here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.